Um, with that said, we'll go ahead and get started. All right. And by the way, feel free anytime that you need to. Feel free to uh, ask questions, raise your hand. I guess my first time using Adobe Connect, so there is a hand raise feature. And if I don't catch it, I'm gonna lean on Donna to help me catch that, and we'll stop and answer your questions as we go. Or if you prefer to save your questions until the end, you can do that as well. All right. So let's get started. Youth ministry partners. Let's give you a little background as to who we are uh, and how we came to be. When I started at the Methodist Publishing House several years ago, almost 3 years ago now, there was a big question around: do we continue in the youth ministry world? Do we continue to provide resources? There are only two things that were required by the denomination to provide. One is confirmation, and the other is Sunday school material. And so there was a kind of a lengthy period of time where they said, we're not quite sure if we can do this. And then so when I came in, and part of my job was to uh, present a proposal to convince folks that yes, we should. And fortunately, with a lot of help, um, we were able to do that. And born out of that is this mission that we exist to listen, learn, and lead, to help inspire and guide conversation, provide youth leaders with resources, training, hands-on guidance to help inspire your teens to love and follow Jesus Christ. There might be some familiar themes in there, especially related to the Methodist Church, about loving and following Jesus. But I want to highlight three words. First word is to listen. We know that in order to provide resources that are effective, that we need to do it with you. And so our goal is to partner with you and to listen, not just to what your needs are, but what's working in terms of content, in terms of delivery, all those kinds of things. We also want to be partners in terms of not just resource provision, but also for in ministry. And so there are a lot of folks that we pray for every day. Um, we listen not just to your resource needs, but also your ministry and your spiritual needs, and trying to figure out how can we come alongside you in ways that will be helpful and supportive and encouraging. The second thing is that we are a learning organization. A year ago, we moved into a new facility, and it is incredible in terms of collaboration. Uh, and one of the priorities that we have moving forward as a company, and it really started with us, not that we influenced the entire company, but this value um, was birthed through this process of developing youth ministry partners, is that we are constantly learning. We're constantly learning about culture. We're constantly learning about teenagers. We're constantly learning about church. We're constantly learning about youth ministry. And so our adaptations happen all the time on a regular basis, which means that we turn around products quicker, which means that we implement things that we learn and share it with you in places like podcasts that we've started. We're going to begin articles on our website soon. So we learn. All of our products are created as a result of what we've learned, and we use a process called design thinking that takes listening and learning together in order to produce our resources. And then finally, we want to lead with you. And in leading, it means we want to be the place where conversation around emerging trends, emerging needs, emerging issues in youth ministry take place. And so we're working toward that, where there's space, cyberspace, where in our events and events that we're partnering with and supporting, those kinds of things, where uh, we are part of the folks who are leading the way in the conversation around youth ministry. And so that's who we are, and that's again also who we're becoming. So I want to pause here for a moment. Does anybody have any questions about about who we are. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on then, and let's talk about one of our very first launch resource, and it is called Groove. Groove Bible Study Series, as you can see there in the description on the slide. The focus is to invite teenagers to learn the essentials of their faith, and it's a topical series. So every study there are 12 4-week studies, 48 weeks in all. So if you would like to use that for an entire year for your midweek program, you can do that. But each topical study consists of those 4 sessions that are discipleship oriented, um, relating to life issues that teenagers face. Every study has a leader guide and a student guide. And the student guide has devotionals for every day of the week as part of it. The leader guide includes the teaching notes, it includes an email to parents, it includes Bible background, it includes everything you need to run a Wednesday night or Sunday night program. Um, those are the best uses for it. It's also set up very, very well to use on a retreat. So, for example, if you wanted to pick a retreat theme and one of the groove topics fit what you wanted to do, everything is there in one study for your retreat. It has the student material, the devotionals, and it has all the teaching content that you need. The only thing you need to bring are the activities, the fun stuff that the camp provides, as well as your music, your worship, those kinds of things. So it's perfect for both middle and high school. The resource provides both suggestions for both age groups, as well as it's suitable for any size. It is laid out in such a way that you can use it for a large group, small group format, or if you have a small group, you can use it simply straight as a small group resource. You can purchase it each study individually, or you can purchase all 48 as a bundle, and I believe that is a digital download only, the bundle, and it's $2.99 for the entire digital bundle. And the nice thing about the bundle is that you can take the content, it's in Word format, and so it's fully editable, and you're able to utilize the student devotionals in any way you wish. You could send them out through social media, through email. You can truncate them however you want, and use them as your needs determine. So that is Groove. Do you have any questions about Groove? I'd like to point out that Groove was written by 2 youth workers, Michael Adkins and Tony Akers. They each wrote 6 of them, and they helped develop the structure as well. So that's another shift that we've made with youth ministry partners, is that um, we collaborate with youth workers, and not just what is needed, but also the development of each resource. Let's talk about Core now. Core is a very, very exciting resource in that it allows you to dive deeply into some real issues and struggles that many teenagers face. And the outcome is that we hope that by using this resource, they could discover their value and worth as children of God and help them reach their full potential. There are 2 studies, each 4 weeks as well. There's small group material, journal pages. There's a video for each lesson. Again, great for middle and high school. Its best use is Sunday or Wednesday gatherings, or also small groups. Say, for example, you'd like to do a special small group series with your group, one in the fall, one in the spring, possibly, or maybe back to back, however you want to do it. This is perfect. Study 1 is digging in, and it's digging into uh, uh, peeling away the layers of the lies that culture and society often tell us about who we need to be. So that's the first step, is just to uncover that, peel those layers away, and then session or study two is all in, and that's really committing ourselves to becoming the people that God has created us to be, and then be able to share that self with others in a positive way. So it can be very, very uh, transformational in the lives of teenagers. It can be raw. It provides for the opportunity to explore topics that a lot of curriculums don't cover, um, and and sometimes they don't. We don't produce resources specifically around issues such as drug abuse or suicide or those kinds of things because they're niche resources. But we felt that with CORE, that this would provide the space for your young people to be able to explore those topics in a way that matters most to them rather than a resource telling them how to. And with you guiding them along the way, you who know them so well, it's a better resource to put in the hands of our folks. And so far, of our youth workers. And so far, we've been hearing nothing but great feedback on that. So, any questions about CORE? And I'll just keep moving through. And as the questions pop up, I don't mind backing up a little bit to go back to questions you have about other resources. All right, so next up, let's talk about Spice Rack. Spice Rack is a curriculum that was written by Mark DeVries, and you might know of Mark through Ministry Architects. And we partnered with Ministry Architects to bring you Spice Rack. Spice Rack is fully downloadable, and there's not a print version of it. And the studies have various lengths. Some are 4 weeks, some are 3 weeks, some are 6 weeks. I think there might be some that are 9 weeks, 13 weeks. So various lengths. And it's Bible study oriented, but topical as well. So there's a combination of those things. Middle school and high school, very appropriate for either. It's packed with a variety of learning activities, games, and discussion material. You have lots of options with Spice Rack, so you can use it in any way you wish. Tons of stuff packed into each lesson. And it's fully editable. Its best use are Sunday morning. I mean, I recommend this for your Sunday school. It can really liven it up quite a bit. It can also be used for Sunday or midweek gatherings, but its best use really is for Sunday morning. We're excited to be able to bring Spice Rack. It really adds a lot of variety to what we're offering, especially as we've jumped into the digital download curriculum world. So, encourage you to check that out if you're looking for a Sunday school resource. Okay, let's talk a bit about Link. Some of you may already be using Link. Link's undergone a couple of revisions over the past couple of years. Link is culture-based and it is current event oriented. And it helps your teens examine relevant faith and life issues, evaluating their worldview, and it utilizes latest music, movies, news, current events. It's very flexible, lots of options in each lesson. Again, middle and high school age group it's great for those age groups. Very easy to use. Everything you need for 45-minute to 1 hour lessons or gatherings. You can receive it either via email, and if you subscribe to it, it'll come to you through an email every week, or you can download it on our website if you'd like to purchase individual studies. We have a backlist of previous studies, and you can search those by topic, and you can download those. They won't be current to the specific time, but relevant enough, I believe, that backlist that you can use at any time. Again, best use Sunday morning, but also can be used for Sunday night or midweek. And a lot of folks will we've learned use it as a continuation. So they'll use one part of the lesson on Sunday morning, and they'll finish that lesson then later on, either Sunday night or Wednesday night, so that they're able to carry that learning through beyond just the 45 minutes to 1 hour, for example, on a Sunday morning. So we've learned how people are using it in a variety of ways, and that's one of them. Any questions about Link? Do you have any Link users out there? All right, next up is Bible Lessons for Youth. And Bible Lessons for Youth is our only dated quarterly curriculum. And what that means is it's 13 weeks, it's got a 6-year scope and sequence, and you buy it you buy it for a quarter at a time, and it comes to you in a shipment. It's print only. We do have digital samples on the website that you can look at if you'd like. It has a leader guide and a student book, again, suitable for both middle and high school, and its best use is Sunday morning. Bible Lessons for Youth, interestingly enough, is our best seller right now. Our new resources are just now, as we're still in year one, gaining traction. Their sales are growing, interest is growing in them, but Bible Lessons for Youth continues to be our best seller. So we overhauled Bible Lessons for Youth, its structure, its format, its look in the past couple of years, and so we've seen interest in it continue to grow. So again, another Sunday school resource if you're looking for something that is more traditional. Lots of active learning activities that I think you'd enjoy. All right, next up, I'd like to talk about what is in the pipeline, what you can look for in the coming year. First up is Fathom. Fathom is a full Bible curriculum, and we're excited about Fathom because it is a resource that we've not had. There are a few that are out there, but we feel that as we've heard with folks that we've talked with, the research we've done with other resources, there's a lot of material out there that people purchase, but find that they have to do a lot of theological adjustment to, especially Wesleyans and Methodist folks. And so we really took a hard look at our full Bible curriculum and said we need to create something that both tells the story of God, but then also takes deep dives into places that are significant anchor points to the story of the Bible, story of God, and also to Wesleyan approach to understanding the scriptures. So we created a curriculum, 18 4-session studies that blends both narrative and traditional theological and hermeneutical approaches. Now, if you're not familiar with that word hermeneutical, it just means interpretation. And so we've blended those approaches. We teach the kids, teach teenagers how to study the Bible. If you look on the screen, the green cover is the Bible, and that's a 4-week study on what is the Bible, how do we get the Bible, and how to study the Bible. Very simple, very clear tools to give teenagers, and then those tools are then implemented in the rest of the series, the rest of the curriculum, so that they're constantly using them in order to study the Bible. And so good Bible study practices are being taught and learned, as well as what the Bible has to say. Alicia, you're asking, does it go by the church calendar or in order through the Bible? Great question. The resource we're releasing the resources in most cases according to the church calendar. There's one that is not being released according to that calendar, and that's due to a glitch that took place in our well, I'll just leave it there. Just a glitch that took place in our are planning. But the release takes place in large part according to the church year for where that applies. The resource does take you through the entire Bible, but it allows you to put those 4-week studies wherever you want in your church, in your curriculum calendar. So you're able to move those around wherever you want, place them wherever you want. We're also releasing them quarterly. So these first 3 that you see on the screen are being released first, and then 3 months later there'll be another 3 that are released. Does that make sense? Does that help answer your question? Okay. I'll continue on, and I'll wait to let me know if it doesn't. So yeah, so there's this. Okay, great. So there's this overarching, or the overarching. Here's the story of God. Here's how you fit into it. Here's God's purpose for you as laid out through the Scripture for all of us as God's children, and and then how to study the Bible. We're very concerned about biblical literacy uh, and discipleship together as well. So it's intellectual. It's engages the heart, and also the, hey, what's next? How do we live out this faith that we're learning about? So love God with heart, love God with hands, and love God with mind. Its best use is really anywhere. You can use it for Sunday morning. You'll be able to use it for midweek. You'll be able to use it for Sunday nights if that's when you gather. It'd be great for small groups. Lots of great learning activities involved with this. It follows Kolb's learning style, learning theory. So there's reflection, which we know a lot of teenagers don't do. We don't often provide that in youth ministry, time for reflection, and this provides that. So we're very excited about Fathom and its uniquenesses. Other questions about Fathom? Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is Confirm, and I'll tell you what, Confirm is really what we're bathing in right now, and I use that word intentionally. Confirm is in production, and we are excited to be releasing it in December. I've got so much to share with you about Confirm, our new confirmation resource. So I want to dive into it. I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions along the way, so feel free to jump in. So Confirm, we started with a design team of people from across the country, people who are respected in youth ministry, respected in confirmation ministry, respected as leaders in the Methodist Church, as pastors, and denominationally as well. And we've asked them to find out from people that do confirmation in their regions of the country, as well as our own research through our events where we've conducted research. 2 questions. What is the biggest concern you hear about confirmation? What is the most common question that you're asked about confirmation? And we've asked other questions as well. What are you doing in confirmation? And we also partnered with the Princeton Confirmation Project. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but in a little bit. But we said we want to gather as much information as possible. It had been a while since we released a confirmation resource with Credo. We knew it was time. We knew it was time for something different, and so we set out to find out what that needed to be. And here's what we discovered the need was: a confirmation and discipleship resource that did these things. It helped churches nurture a lasting faith in the lives of young people, that it understands the value and understands and values the adolescent faith formation process, is flexible, is adaptable, and can be used in any church size or demographic. And finally, it engages adult participation. These were the key aspects of what we discovered was needed in confirmation. So we set out to create that with Confirm. And so its uniqueness is this: it was developed in partnership. It demonstrates a deep understanding of how adolescents learn. We contracted with Michael Novelli to be the development editor for Confirm. We also um, utilized learning. You heard me talk about Kolb's learning style, which is a emerging, even though it's not a new learning style. It's emerging style in terms of its use in curriculum in resource circles, and so it is an integrative approach to learning, which we know uh, is critical for uh, lasting transformation. It treats confirmation as discipleship rather than a decision. So often, what we've heard was uh, kids are just leaving the church after confirmation, or they are uh, hanging out for a little while, but it's really a decision that's being made about whether or not I'm going to continue in my faith or I'm going to join the church. Other situations, they're just doing it because their parents want them to. So Confirm treats confirmation not as a decision to join the church or not, but rather as a process of discipleship, and it's set in the context of lifelong discipleship. So we're pretty excited about that. It is unique in that it engages parents in the congregation. We spent a good bit of time talking about what that needs to be in light of what we are hearing from the Princeton confirmation folks and also our churches. And so we've done two things. One, we have a director guide that talks about what confirmation is, how to do confirmation in a broad sense. So it is discipleship oriented, so that there are places in your process where you can create what we call rites of passage that are meaningful for your teenagers, where your church embraces them as full participants in the life of the church, which is critical to their not only embracing but long-term engagement with their faith, long-term embracing of their identity as followers of Jesus Christ. And so we provide some direction in the director guide with that, or for that. We also, in our parent guide, provide uh, some content and resource to help parents participate in the process at home. One of the things that we heard often is that parents want to be involved, but there's no provision within traditional confirmation programs for that to take place. Or sometimes the local church maybe didn't have the bandwidth to do so. Confirm provides that. So you purchase the parent piece for your parents, and they can utilize that at home on their own. And you don't have to create anything around that; it already exists. Um, there will also be online content available at the time of launch, where you'll be able to access additional resources uh, for confirmation. Things such as, hey, how do we create a meaningful worship experience for our congregation and our young people around their decision to, or their choice, not decision, but their choice to embrace Jesus, say yes to Christ, and to say yes to this community of faith that they're becoming a part of fully. There be also additional resources on the website for how do we adapt this content in terms of number of weeks. Let's say we don't want to do 39 weeks. We want to do 13 or 12 or 8 or whatever it is. How can we utilize create or confirm for a retreat? How do we decide what lessons we want to use? Those kinds of things. How can we utilize this resource for young people with special needs? How do we use this resource if we're in an urban area or a rural area, or we're a large confirmation group, or we just have a handful of teenagers. All those kinds of resources will be available digitally on our website. We've also incorporated lessons we've learned from Credo and Claim the Name. So we've taken that feedback from those two resources and implemented that learning with Confirm as well. All right, and finally, one of the great things about Confirm is that it is endorsed by the United Methodist Church. So, and we're excited about that as well. So far, any questions before we move on? Okay, Kevin's typing a question. We'll give him a second. Yeah, great question, Kevin. How many weeks? That's up to you. There are 39 lessons for those folks who want to use it for an entire year, broken up into 6 units. But it is adaptable, customizable to however many weeks you'd like to use it. And we'll provide some recommendations on our website when the time comes, when we launch, about which lessons we recommend for a certain number of weeks. For example, we have video associated with 12 lessons, 2 per unit, and those are the units that if you want to use it for 12 weeks, we recommend these units for 12 weeks, for 12-week session. But if you know, there might be some other ways you want to use it. You might want to focus on specific aspects of you know, maybe some units you want to emphasize more than others, and so you might want to use more lessons from one unit than another. And so we work with you to help figure that out. The other, both print and downloadable, yes, and downloadable in Word documents, so you'll be able to edit as needed. We found also that some churches are use it over a period of 2 or 3 years. So they'll run X number of weeks in the fall or in the spring every year over the course of 2 or 3 years. So you'll be able to do that with this as well. Other questions? Okay, whoops, I didn't go over this this slide. So what Confirm does, it offers a deep dive in my slide is offers a deep dive into the history of Methodism, and also has Methodist-specific content such as an overview of social principles. And you don't find that in other Methodist or other confirmation resources that claim to be Methodist-oriented. Alicia's asking, is there a DVD and other tech? Yes, and we'll get to the DVD and videos here in a minute. Yes, there is. It's a resource for the UM family, and it focuses on the core of Methodist life and the Wesleyan movement. Why do we do it? Why do we do Confirm? We did it because we wanted to provide a resource that was engaging, that was thorough, that was historically accurate, and that was theologically sound. So let's talk about the components. And Alicia, at the end of the list of components is the DVD, is the video, and I've got a couple of samples to show you. We chose 2 different approaches to video, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So the director guides, as I mentioned a bit ago, provides direction for creating an effective discipleship path for teens. It is complete with detailed instructions that integrate easily with the church's youth ministry program and other ministries throughout the church. Provides tools for creating specific confirmation assessments and reasonable expectations for the youth pastor, or for your youth, for your pastor, for parents, and for confirmation leaders. And there, with the director guide, there is also online content that covers some of this material. Some of this material won't be specifically in the print version, but we'll have director guide additional content as well online that will cover all of these things. Again, the parent guide mentioned a bit ago. Uh, there's an overview of the confirmation discipleship process for parents. They understand what this is, what their role as parents are, and the support a family can the importance of family support in the confirmation process. Also, some discussion starter ideas, activities, and devotional suggestions for use at home. By the way, yeah, I just saw this pop up. There's some brochures that you can download that we have for you, both for Confirm and for all the resources that we talked about today. The mentor guide. Yeah, one of the other things that we discovered through our co-learning with the Princeton confirmation folks is that a growing number of churches are using mentoring as part of their confirmation process. So we utilized that learning and created a mentor guide that provides an overview for mentors so they understand what this is. We really want everyone participating to be on the same page. Also equips mentors with suggested relationship building ideas, helps them understand what a mentor is, what their role is, how does it fit into the confirmation program, provides some do's and don'ts, talks about safety and security, and also provides additional help such as meeting trackers, uh, just a sheet on, hey, here's what happened during our meeting, here's what we're learning together. Here's where my mentee is, and here's how I want to ideas, thoughts, topics, conversations I want to engage and encourage for our next time together. So that's a meeting tracker. There's some additional resource material there for just getting to know the teenager. So we want this to be a useful tool for your mentors. Uh, Again, the teaching plans, this is Kolb's learning style, and we utilize it in a number of our resources. This is how it plays out in Confirm. Every Confirm lesson has 5 components to it. A connect section where the goal is to help the teenager connect to the other teenagers, other confirmands, and through the content, and through relational activity. The next phase, we transition into then an explore phase, where the main topic or of the lesson is explored through some sort of story, visual, scripture reading, active learning. This is not the facilitator is not a talking head. It is not content dump, but rather discovery. We want the young person to discover the truth of the scripture, the truth of the content. And so the facilitator, the adult, really is just that. And their job is to also guide the young person in their discovery. The next section is a reflect section to really give an opportunity to slow down and capture the observations, be able to formulate their questions, and have opportunity to think about that, and also to talk about it. The next section of the lesson is a create section. It's a creative activity where the young person can describe what they've learned and then share it with the group. And the lesson doesn't stop when your time is up, but extends beyond that. So the next section is designed to help your group brainstorm next steps for living out what they've learned at home, at school, and in their community and in the world. This is where we understand and we know developmentally where young people's faith commitments are made. They're not made in the youth group. They're not made in the confirmation class time. Their faith commitments are made in the moments where they have to make a choice about, am I going to live this or not? We know that stumbles happen, that choices are all over the map, but over time, a consistency of choice in the midst of that comes as a result of taking what they've experienced and what they've learned through these moments that you have with them, that are reinforced by the moments that they have with their mentors, that are also reinforced by the moments they have with their parents. That the the opportunity for them to make a choice influenced by those things is far greater. And so we want to encourage uh, the support and reinforcement of those choices in those moments. And so that's why next is in there, because we know developmentally that that's critical. All right. I want to back up for just a second before we get to the DVD. Do you have any questions about the lesson plans, how they're structured, or anything else around them? Okay. Does this have flexible meeting times, an hour, two, etc.? Yeah, it's designed to be used for 45 minutes to an hour, around there. But you can use it however you want. For example, if you want to extend small group time or create time, you can do that. You can break it up. You can use a lesson over however number of weeks you want to. That's up to you. We've designed it because what we've learned is that majority of confirmation class periods last 45 minutes to an hour. And so we've designed it for that, but it is expandable based on how you would like to use it. You can incorporate the additional content that will be on our website to do that, or just give more time for the elements that are already present in the lesson. Great. Okay. So the DVD, we chose based on our research, both of what teenagers are doing, especially middle school teenagers. Middle school teenagers, we learned their first foray into social media is through YouTube. And that's what their parents are allowing them to be on. And so we chose that style for one set of videos, and we chose whiteboard sketch videos for another. What YouTube style videos are going to be our unit overviews. So every unit, 6 units, they'll each have a unit overview, and that video will be used in the very first lesson of every unit. And so we looked high and low and found a YouTube, they're really a YouTube sensation. They're called Blimey Cow. And if you have an opportunity to go there and to look at some of the things that they do, they're very, very good. And I'd recommend them. The topics, they're fast, or the videos are fast paced. They're very enjoyable, kid friendly, youth worker friendly topics that you can incorporate into any study that you do. But we chose them because of that, because they're very engaging. They have a great following. Youth workers love them. Teenagers have loved their videos. They've received great feedback, and so we contracted with them to produce our unit overview videos. And then there are 12 whiteboard sketch videos that we're very excited about for deeper learning. Whiteboard video increases learning capacity by at least 15%, or I'm sorry, retention capacity by at least 15%. And so what I want to do is I want to show you those 2 videos styles, and we did our promo videos in both of those styles. So I'm going to show you both promo videos for Confirm right now. Oh, in just a minute, but I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Here is the slide for Blimey Cow, which we already discussed, and I want to show here. I'm going to show you now their video.
So, you're teaching confirmation. That can be a big deal. And you might find all of this a bit intimidating. I mean, maybe you're not a super confident youth leader.
I know how to keep you students engaged and inspired.
And more than likely, you're not exactly John Wesley in the flesh either.
Alright guys, let's talk about me. Remember when I said...
It can be hard to prepare lessons, find volunteers, and get parents involved. But confirmation doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be scary. That's why we're presenting Confirm, the only confirmation resource approved for United Methodist churches.
I approve this.
We know this is important, and that's why Confirm is designed to keep your students engaged and enthusiastic. I know things now! Now, don't get me wrong, confirmation isn't easy, but we'll be here every step of the way helping you out. That's our promise to you, and we're going to have a blast. Your students will learn about the history of the Christian faith, the importance of theology, and what it means to be a Christian and United Methodist in particular.
John Leslie, did we just become best friends?
Confirmation won't be just another class your students take. Confirm will invite your students to ask tough questions. Questions they may have never thought about before that will lead them into a deeper and more complete faith. So now you know a little bit more about Confirm. Do you want to get started? Jump in at youthministrypartners.com/confirm.
Presenting Confirm, the only confirmation resource approved for United Methodist churches. Too often, confirmation has been downgraded to the role of a checkpoint along the faith journey. The Confirm family of resources reclaims confirmation as the first step on a journey that leads to a mature faith. It's the beginning of a conversation about what it means to be a Christian, living out your faith, your commitment, and God's call. Let's take a look at the gear you'll have for your confirmation experience. The Director Guide provides useful information on the role of confirmation, how to effectively integrate confirmation into a discipleship path, and important insights into the faith development of your students. The teaching plans include 39 customizable lessons to accommodate any schedule. Each teaching plan includes a variety of engaging activities and reinforces the core message of confirmation. The Student Guide allows the students to connect with the lesson, prompts them to engage the material creatively, and encourages them to take the next steps in living their faith. The DVD features fun introductory videos by the duo Blimey Cow and 12 whiteboard videos. We'll be joining you for those. As teens prepare to make their faith commitments, they need the support of mature Christians. Confirm includes resources to help families and mentors as they guide their students through this important time. The Parent Guide provides an overview of confirmation and helps parents establish their role in the process. It equips parents with discussion starters, activities, and devotional suggestions for use at home. The Mentor Guide suggests how to build relationships and gives tips on how to walk alongside a young person during the confirmation journey. What's next? Join the conversation and get more information. We look forward to partnering with you in your church's confirmation program.
And if you go to the Youth Ministry Partners YouTube site, you'll be able to view both the Blimey Cow video, our promo video, and also the whiteboard promo video. All right, so here's a list of the video topics. So there are two per unit, 2 lessons per unit, and these are the lessons that the videos are connected with. All right, so let's talk about the online content. So this is the digital content that you'll be able to access and utilize to contextualize Confirm for your church and your group. There'll be ideas for trips and outings, church-wide celebrations, service ideas, retreats, additional mentoring ideas, special needs, small churches, older youth, number of confirmation programs include older teenagers, and much more. And the nice thing about Confirm is that because we have a digital base that we then turn it into print, every year we can take the feedback that we get and we can update not just the online content, but also the actual lesson content. And then the next year we'll be able to update it with the print versions with new content because we do everything print on demand now. So so that's pretty exciting. We'll be able to keep current with Confirm. Any questions that you have about Confirm? Anything else I can answer for you? Okay, we also are producing leadership resources. Last year we released two books. One is called Beyond the Screen, Youth Ministry for the Connected but Alone Generation. Andrew Zersky wrote this book, and it is a gold mine for navigating the reasons behind why teenagers are so engaged in social media. And the bottom line is they're looking for relational connection in a world that many of them have a hard time believing that cares enough about them to create safe places. And so they seek out their own safe places for relational connection. And that helps us to understand as adults how we can help teenagers navigate that in a healthy way, and also help in maybe better ways or other ways help facilitate that meeting of the need for connection and relationship. So interesting some new statistics that are out. We're seeing a growth in the number of young people who are abandoning social media for at least temporarily for more face-to-face relationships. So it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out as we move forward. But Beyond the Screen is a great resource for helping you move forward with navigating social media and teenagers. Hall of Faith is really helping you with your teenagers navigate the world of moralistic therapeutic deism. Hall of Faith, really good resource for helping you navigate teenagers, well, really the culture in general. But we've passed this faith down to young people about being good. All God wants you to do is to be good and to do good things. And what Hall of Faith does is really help us to get back to the crux of teaching kids the gospel and what it means to be a follower of Jesus. So there's parent material in there, and there's also you have access to I think it's a 6 weeks of lessons to use with your teenagers. So that comes as a free download when you buy the book. So that is Hall of Faith. Coming out this fall, we're excited to be able to release Smaller Church Youth Ministry by Brad Fiskus with Stephanie Caro as a contributor. And that is again, I like to use the word gold mine. It is a gold mine for helping smaller churches create thriving disciple-making youth ministries. Brad is the Next Gen Ministries Director for, and I hope I got that title right, it just changed, for the Tennessee Conference. And for several years now has led it's called the Smaller Church Youth Ministry Initiative. And cohorts of churches have gone through it, a year-long process. Stephanie Caro from Ministry Architects, smaller church expert, has partnered with Brad to create this program. And the churches that have embraced it have launched thriving youth ministries without a lot of resources, without a lot of staff. And we're excited to share this book with you. It's grown out of what they've learned and how they've changed the program over time. They identified key things the church needs to do in order to create a thriving youth ministry in a smaller church. So, highly recommend that. I had the privilege of being the editor for this work, and can't wait to get it in your hands this December. And then next, Unleashing the Hidden Potential of Your Student Leaders. Jen Bradbury, who's written before, not for us, but for the Youth Cartel. I think her book is called The Jesus Gap. Really sharing gems of ideas for how we can not just tap into the kids who we always go to for leadership, the outgoing, the kids who seem to have everything going for them, but also the teenagers who don't appear to be on the surface the go-to teenagers, but have hidden skills, abilities, gifts and calling that we can identify and call out. So that's often where the hidden potential lies. And so this is going to be a great resource to help you identify the students with those hidden potentials and to utilize them, help them to grow. All right, last call for final questions.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Jack, for your presentation and for helping us get to know the resources that Youth Ministry Partners have available. I think that's been helpful to me, and I hope it's been helpful to the rest of you all. We will archive this and post it on holstonyouth.com, so if you need to refer back, if you're wondering which resource was it that was great for a Sunday morning, it'll be easy to look that up.
And
Also,
let
I
me
want to invite you all to join us for other webinars that we have coming up. In October, we will have Stephanie Strutner with us, who will be talking about substance abuse prevention. She is the director of a nonprofit that deals with substance abuse prevention. And then in November, we will have Brad Fiskus here with us talking about the Smaller Church Ministry book and resources and ideas and that kind of thing as well. So again, thank you, Jack, so much. Appreciate all of you all being with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
thank you.